So the next what I wanted to tell you about is about the purpose of the study. So the study that you conduct can be done with different purposes on mind. Traditional description very often give you only one, that you need to get to the solution that basically deals with that problem that you started. It is not at all that simple. So the first type is an exploratory study. I did, for example, a lot of these simply because I like that. It is when you don't even understand what the problem is. What you are trying to figure out is what it is in the first place that you should be studying, okay? So you have seen something, it intrigues you, and you want to figure out what it is. That is, when you speculate about that, it is called problematizing. It is the twin sister of theorizing. Theorizing, or in Hungarian, elmélkedés. Theorizing is about speculating towards something where you want to get. Problematizing is speculating towards where you want to start from. Okay, so the outcome of an exploratory study is not a solution, it is a problem. So we gain a little bit better understanding of what it is that we should research. The next level is the descriptive study, which does not engage too much into the whole analytical stuff. It tries to map all the characteristics that describe that thing. So it is like the exploratory did not even know where we are looking. Then you figure out that this is the thing that we should be looking at. Now the descriptive goes and describes this thing in detail. Not the why kind of things, just how things are, what this thing is like. Okay, so it is just a description, a very detailed characterization of the phenomenon that you are interested in. And then the explanatory study starts answering the why question. So that's the traditional kind of problem-solving thing. It is about getting to the solution. So it is not about the finding the problem, it is about solving the problem. So what is very important about this is that when you figure out a solution to the problem, then it usually feels as if you have found the only way to tackle that problem. It is very unlikely, okay? It is very unlikely that this is the only way to do that. Even if you think about, I don't know, very well-structured things like mathematics, if you need to prove a theorem, there are always many different ways how you can prove a theorem. And that was one of the big success stories of artificial intelligence, when Herbert Simon figured that the AI, that was the first AI in the history, that it was called the logic theorist. And it was Herb Simon and Alan Newell who designed it. And the purpose of this AI was to prove mathematical theorems. And they fed to this software the Principia Mathematica by Alfred North Whitehead and Bertrand Russell. And it had, in the first volume, there are 52 theorems. And over the years, the logic theorists managed to prove 38 of those 52, which is an incredible achievement. And we are talking about the 50s. So it is something almost unimaginable that they managed to do with that. But the real success story is that Herbert Simon found that he thought that one of the proofs that logic theorists came up with was more elegant than the one that Alfred North Whitehead and Bertrand Russell came up with. And Alfred North Whitehead died by that time, but he sent, Simon sent a letter to Bertrand Russell, Sir Bertrand Russell, and Bertrand Russell replied that he agrees that it was a more elegant way to prove the theorem. So they accepted that. So it is, see, what it's about, different things, which is prettier. So that is actually a very good guide. And if you look at some of the physicists, like for example, Wilczek, what's his name, Franz Wilczek, he is a theoretical physicist who claims that all he does ever and what physics is all about is discovering the beauty of nature in this particular way that we call science. And you have like countless examples of that. So finally, you have the last type of study, which is evaluative, which means that you have already obtained the solution, then you judge how well it works, under which conditions it works. So there is this whole process that we will talk about later called validation. So for example, here is the solution, under which conditions it works. It is like, you know, we talked about the Newtonian gravity idea, under which conditions it works. And obviously we now know after Einstein that if the speeds are not too high, then the Newtonian gravity ideas are perfectly fine. Okay. Now, if it was a study of the size that fits within a journal paper, it would be only one of these. In something of the size of a dissertation, you might have more than one. And you might actually, as you are doing it by papers anyway, it might be that you have several papers that have consecutive aspects of this, so that you have an exploratory study, explanatory study, and I don't know. So it is certainly a possibility to combine these different types of studies. But what is important is to understand what the purpose is for that particular problem-solving process in which you are engaging.